All right, so welcome back to the Water Resources and Environmental Engineering section of the Civil FE exam review. Today, we're going to be looking deeper into water resources. We're going to be looking at collection systems. Now, if you missed any of the previous videos, right, this is like a subsection G, but if you missed any of the videos that I made prior, it went through different topics. Like part A was basic hydrology, all the way through to basically stormwater. Made videos on those, so if you haven't checked out those, make sure you go through them. There's some conceptual questions that I go through, and definitely don't want to be skipping topics, right? All right, so let's look at collection systems. Okay, so number one says calculate the average daily wastewater flow for a residential area with 500 homes, assuming a average per capita water use of 80 gallons per day. Okay, so what are we given? Given the number of homes, which is 500, right? And we're given the average water use per day for each home, right? Per capita, per home, right? Okay, so what are we trying to find out of all this stuff? It says calculate the average daily flow. What is flow? Or what will flow need to be in? Well, we'll need to get it in gallons per day. That's what our answer is in. So I know that the average daily flow needs to be in gallons per day. All right, so where do we start? This looks like it's going to be a unit conversions question. We just want to find the average daily flow, and we know some information, but we don't know everything, right? So we know that we have the number of homes, which is 500 homes, right? And I know that each home is going to need 80 gallons per day. And this is for one home, right? So to take care of all these homes, we're going to need to multiply 80 times 500, right? And so that's going to get rid of the homes unit, and it's going to leave us in gallons per day, which is what we need to get our answer in, to get our flow. All right. So once I do that, I get that to be able to serve all these people, all these 500 homes, based on their need for each home, the average daily per day, right? The average daily flow will need to be 40,000 gallons per day, or D. All right, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Alrighty, let's look at number 2. This one says determine the radius of a circular wastewater collection pipe for a neighborhood with 300 homes. Consider an average flow rate of 120 gallons per minute and a velocity of 2 feet per second. Okay. All right, so let's write down what we're given. We are given the velocity. We are given the average flow rate, which is 120 gallons per minute. Okay. And what else? We're also given the number of homes. Okay. So what are we trying to find? We're trying to find the radius of your pipe. Okay. So I know, and you should know, we can look at it. Flow through a pipe is always one-dimensional fluid flow, especially flow through a pipe. It's Q equals A times V, all right? This is a very popular formula. So they give us flow, which is 120 gallons per minute. They give us velocity. So Q is equal to V times A, or A times V. So we're given the flow. A would be the cross-sectional area of a pipe, which we don't know, but we're trying to find, which we're going to need part of that to be able to find our answer. And then V is our velocity, and they give us that. So formulas needed is going to be Q is equal to V times A. All right. All right. What is Q? Q is equal to 120 gallons per. All right. One thing that I note is my answer needs to be in feet. My Q is in gallons per minute. All right. And so my V is equal to feet per second. So I want my units to cancel. It's very important to get my units to cancel. So 2 feet per second. And then my A is going to be cross-sectional areas. So I know that it's a circular, right? Circular pipe. So I know my cross-sectional area is going to be, what's the cross-sectional area of a circle? Pi r squared. Do we know r? No, we do not. So we're solving for, right? Okay. So if I do Q equals V times A, then I'm going to be basically, to get A, I'm going to be taking gallons per minute and dividing it by feet per second, which just doesn't make sense, right? So let's get everything in terms of feet and seconds. I think that'll make my life a lot easier. So let's transform Q to equal 120 gallons per minute. And what do I need to do to get this to seconds and to feet? All right. If you didn't know you could transform gallons into feet, then I'm glad you're watching this video. So, all right. So how can we get it from minutes to seconds? Well, I know that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds, right? All right. So that handles the first thing, right? So now our minutes cancel, and now we have our flow into gallons per second. All right, still a problem. We need it in feet cubed per second. So how many cubic feet are in a gallon? Or can you even do that, right? So let's check unit conversions. Huh. Gallon. 1 gallon is equal to 0.134 feet cubed. Perfect. All right. So to cancel, we need 1 gallon is equal to 0.134 feet cubed. Okay. So now what does that do? That cancels out our gallons. And now we're left with feet cubed over seconds. And this is just for Q, right? So we're still solving for Q. We just want to get it in feet cubed per second. And so when I do that, I get 0.268 feet cubed per second. All right, so now I have a flow in feet cubed per second, and I have a velocity in feet per second. And so I'm assuming it's going to give me my area in feet squared, right? So if I do Q equals V times A, it equals to, or this substitutes or transforms to be A equals Q over V, right? And then, so my A is now Q over V, which is, what's Q? 0.268 feet cubed per second. All over, what's my velocity? It is 2 feet per second. Okay. So now what am I left with? Well, I have an answer that is going to be equal to let's see, 0.268 divided by 2, 0.134 feet squared. Okay, now what I can do is now I have A, right? I have my A. That's what I just solved for. Okay, so now I know that I have A. So A is 0.134 feet squared is equal to pi r, which is what I'm trying to get the radius of my pipe, right? R squared. So when I take this, I get r is equal to 0.20 feet, right? So that radius of my pipe is going to be 0.2, which is A. Alrighty, a little bit of substituting, a little bit of figuring out what they're wanting, but not too bad. Q is equal to A times V is a very popular one. So if you're ever given flow, if you're ever given velocity, if you're ever given area of a pipe, the diameter of a pipe, radius of a pipe, all of that. That's the formula is going to help you. Okay. So let's look at number 3. This one says, which engineering solution is specifically designed to promote groundwater recharge and reduce stormwater runoff from impervious surfaces? So we are given that we want to promote ground water recharge and reduce storm water runoff. Huh. Okay, so we're trying to find a solution, an engineering solution. Okay. All right, so would it be detention basins? Don't believe so. Detention basins, they help pretty much regulate stormwater flow and the speed of things. Right? They temporarily hold and release stormwater, preventing downstream flooding. And retention basins, they permanently store a portion of the runoff. So not going to be a green roofs. You don't know what green roofs are. I took a few notes. So green roofs, so they have a few different things that go along with green roofs. You got rain gardens and bioswales, and so they all help or could help absorb and detain stormwater. And they're natural, so they absorb stormwater. Natural and substantial way to manage increased runoff from impervious areas. So this could be partially correct. It doesn't really help necessarily with your recharge though, groundwater recharge. So I'm gonna say no still to that one. Underground storage systems. All right, so these are things like chambers and tanks. They can temporarily store excess stormwater. And this prevents like surges of water and minimizes the risk of flooding. So still no. Then you got permeable pavements. Permeable pavements, they use permeable pavements to allow water to infiltrate through the surface, reducing basically runoff, and then it promotes groundwater recharge. So this helps in managing stormwater and decreasing the burden of on conventional drainage systems. So basically it can slide right in through the pavement, recharge the groundwater, and it also will reduce the amount of water that's running off, right? So answer is D. So you had to have some prior knowledge on some of this stuff. And so that was hopefully a good refresher of what some of these things are, just in case you're asked questions on them. All right. So that concludes the collection systems portion for water resources and environmental engineering. Next video we're going to be going through is groundwater. So I will see you all in the next video.